In the language of climate change and UN jargon, Egypt calls this the Implementation Summit, or Show Us the Money. Canada was tasked with wrangling up cash to help developing nations mitigate climate change, and they've fallen short.
We've mobilized more than $80 billion to help developing countries tackle the impacts of climate change, reduce their emissions. We said we would be at $100 billion in 2020, so we're not there yet.
Urgent.
So the plan is to have the private sector fill the funding gap.
And we're calling this effort the Energy Transition Accelerator.
U.S. climate czar John Kerry says American companies can pay someone else to cut their emissions, and the money raised will help fund new carbon-neutral energy sources in developing countries.
And this is an approach that can deliver deep and rapid emission reductions. What do we want?
But carbon offsetting has a mixed track record, says this Canadian activist.
We've already heard here at COP27 that overly relying on offsets is quite a questionable thing to do and doesn't always deliver results.
On the other contentious issue this summit, compensation for poor nations for climate damage, the U.S. has been non-committal, whereas China now says it will provide money.
但是中国愿意
We're willing to make a contribution, said climate chief Xi Jinping. China and the U.S. had agreed to cooperate on climate, but the détente fell apart after U.S. Speaker Nancy Pelosi visited Taiwan this summer.
所以我们希望美国呢
It's up to the U.S. to repair things, said Xi, saying there have been no official talks since. China is the world's largest emitter, so it's not surprising the United States wants to focus on mitigating ongoing costs, while China wants the U.S. to pay for its actions in the past. Chris Brown, CBC News in Sharm el-Sheikh.